please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait
answer?
a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our military equipment, if you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say.
Welcome to Khanversations. I'm Muqtedar, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about the amazing, shocking, and unbelievable and unprecedented episode of watching heads of states literally shouting at each other in the Oval Office, perhaps one of the most revered American political space, and also one of the most powerful locations in world politics. I never thought I would see something like that. It gave you a glimpse about how these conversations probably take place behind doors, but this happened in public, and it appeared to me as if it was deliberate by Zelensky. Unless you tell me that he's so full of it that he has no control over his emotions in a diplomatic situation where he knows that he is under pressure to somehow convince Donald Trump to continue supporting Ukraine. So he's coming from a position of weakness, but I think he tried to put on a show in front of the American public to try and basically delegitimize Donald Trump and try to win the sympathies of the American public. But let me tell you, I did not vote for Donald Trump, but today I'm with Donald Trump, and I hope he walks away from Ukraine permanently. This kind of arrogance, the son of a bitch, I can't believe it. I could not believe the way he was talking. He has taken American support for granted. He was giving a lesson to the American president and the American vice president in history. And it was, to me, quite mind-boggling. There's no way I would have imagined that Zelensky would behave like that with the United States president, a country on who the very existence of his country depends. Without US support, Ukraine will not be able to stand up for a week. The US has been with Ukraine for 3.5 years. In fact, we've been with them since 2014. After the Russian invasion of Crimea and annexation, the United States made NATO a kind of a partner, made Ukraine a partner of NATO, and they have been providing weapons and training since 2014. It's not just that the US started supporting Ukraine after the war started. As Trump himself pointed out, it was the US that gave, when Trump was president, gave those Javelin missiles to Ukraine. And that was before 2020. So this was completely spectacular, shocking, and it was a window into the psychology of Zelensky. You know, here all the liberals and all the anti-Russia voices in America constantly keep talking about Putin's character. Putin is untrustworthy. Putin is this, and they just talk about Zelensky as if he's some kind of a Moses or a hero. But this revelation about his personality was quite shocking. I have a few thoughts that I want to share with you, and I will. Please go and watch that clip. I will share a couple of short clips in this video, but please watch the entire clip. Elon Musk just retweeted it, and it is astonishing. The whole episode, it's unbelievable. What was also interesting is that the Ukrainian ambassador to the US, who's been an ambassador throughout this war, her picture, her photograph holding her head is, I think, the best summary of what really happened. But I'm going to make a few points about what this all means. But before that, please subscribe to Khanversations, like this video, press the bell icon, and don't forget to share this video with your social political network. So it's very clear that there was this discussion in which I think a reporter or Zelensky basically accused Donald Trump of taking sides with Putin. And that's where I think Trump basically said that I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with you. I'm aligned with both of you. I'm aligned with the world. I want to ensure that this ceasefire happens. And then he said, this man hates Putin so much, it's impossible to have a ceasefire. And of course, he also said that neither does Putin like Zelensky. But after that, Zelensky, in a very arrogant fashion, basically is trying to blame the United States for giving up on Ukraine. This is not US territory. This is not our sovereignty at stake. It is not our business. Why is Ukraine a US responsibility? I don't understand. I do not understand why the US has to support Ukraine. We didn't support other countries. We didn't support Tibet when it was annexed by China. We didn't support India when China and Pakistan annexed parts of Kashmir. Why is Ukraine so entitled to unending support, partly because of the way the Biden administration talked about it? If you remember, everybody, not just Biden administration, even Delaware senators, as if they had any say in foreign policy, would chime that we will support Ukraine for as long as it takes, and with whatever it takes. Like, we will give enough money, whatever amount of money is what. To me, that is, I think, partly a reason, and all the European countries have been just eulogizing this man, and he has, I guess, his ego has taken over his whole personality. He's frustrated that a Western leader is not being servile to him, is not meeting all his demands. We have seen leaks even from the Biden administration where very nasty terms were used by the US administration to deal with Zelensky because of his constant assertion that you don't do enough, you don't do anything. He is never grateful for what the US has done. He's always pointing out to what the US has not done. Now they want guarantees. And this constant reference to Minsk I and Minsk II, they pretend as if it was all Putin's fault. It was Ukraine's eagerness to join NATO and the willingness of Biden administration to encourage that and signal that is one of the reasons why Putin went into Ukraine. So it was also a violation of Western promises to Russia. It's not just that Russia's promises to Ukraine have been violated. Of course they did when Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons. Its security was guaranteed by the US and Russia and others. But to me, this whole episode is so shocking. It shows how entitled Zelensky feels. It shows how arrogant he is. And he shows that he thinks that he can manipulate the American foreign policy through playing a role in front of the American media. It is disgusting. I was watching a couple of shows as I was preparing, just setting myself up, setting up the lights and logging into Zoom. I use Zoom to make my videos. I was watching videos and I'm stunned at how some American channels are still standing with Zelensky and against their own country and against their own president. This is exactly the reason why foreign leaders come here and lecture America. Netanyahu once gave a lecture in the two joint sessions of the US Congress and the Senate, and he insulted Obama, and Democratic senators stood up and clapped. That we can understand because they sold their soul to the Israeli lobby. They got money for that. But here, they're not getting any money from any Ukrainian lobby to insult your own president. I find this really, really unacceptable behavior from Zelensky, and I'm absolutely happy that Trump kicked him out. I'm absolutely happy that Trump kicked him out. He did not have further press conference. They did not have any agreement. He did not sign. And this is the particular statement that Donald Trump has issued on his social media. I will see if I can share it with you. And it makes very clear what Trump's position is on this. He says, "We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations." This is the point. For some reason, Europeans think that if America does whatever they want America to do, they will win. And that's how it has been. America went and bailed Europe out in World War I. America went in and bailed Europe out in World War II. And now again. But without America, they are nothing. Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. So this is what he's trying to say. Unlike the Biden administration, I'm not here to give you an edge over Russia. I want peace. I want the war to stop now. And then, of course, the last two sentences are telling. He disrespected the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he's ready for peace. I think Donald Trump is being very generous to him. If I was the advisor to Donald Trump, I would say that no more dialogue with Ukraine until they get rid of Zelensky. Ukraine should fire this man. I don't care how they appoint. They just select, elect, appoint a new president who will negotiate with the United States and with Russia for a ceasefire, and then work towards peace going forward. But at the moment, I don't think the United States should, under pressure either from European allies or others, succumb to this whole business of defending Ukraine endlessly. And you know, the amazing part was that as more and more aid came in from the US and from Europe, the ambitions of Zelensky began to expand far beyond the initial impulse to defend Ukraine from Russian invasion. So I think this is a very stunning moment that happened. I think Zelensky has done tremendous damage, not just to Ukraine, but also perhaps to Europe and to NATO, because most Americans who are watching this, most Americans, I mean, the Trump supporters are going to be stunned. I can tell you that. Their support for Trump and their opposition to further aid and support to Ukraine is only going to increase. But I also think a lot of independents, like me, I did not vote for Trump. But today I am with Trump. It is simply unacceptable for this man. The very existence of his country depends on US support to come and talk like that. I can understand. I can understand that Ukraine wants to become part of European Union, get lots and lots of money from European Union, and wants to be part of NATO so that America can endlessly protect Ukraine and they can cut their defense budget and spend the money. Or in the case of Ukraine, which is actually a very corrupt country, go and take a look at it. It used to be known as kleptocracy before the Western leaders suddenly made it the champion of democracy in the world. So that's as far as Ukraine is concerned. I think that Donald Trump should not ever meet Zelensky, never bring him to the White House. Yes, if Democrats win and they want to, sell off America, auction America, and give the proceeds to Ukraine to fight Russia. This whole business of, if you don't stop him now, he will take Poland. If you don't stop him now, he will take this. The argument works the same way if you look at NATO's endless expansion in 1994 and so on after that. So perhaps Putin is also thinking, if I don't stop them now, they will be in Moscow tomorrow. So this idea of what will happen in future. And I also found something very interesting when J.D. Vance pointed out that he's having trouble recruiting soldiers. The average age of the Ukrainian army is 40 at the moment. They are having trouble getting their young people to fight for their country. So he said, oh, you also are having this problem. We didn't get Ukrainians to fight for us in many of the wars that we fought. But you're also going to have this problem. I mean, this whole idea of the disrespect that he has shown the United States, I think has really made me very angry. I'm surprised by myself, honestly, as to how pissed off I am right now. And I think that Donald Trump should simply walk away from this deal, stop about making peace. If the war will not stop, if the US stops its aid, the war will stop tomorrow. He doesn't even need to negotiate a deal between Putin and Ukraine or anybody else. Just stop giving money, just stop giving weapons to Ukraine. It will stop. The Europeans are bullshit. They are not going to do anything. They'll just talk. And then that's it. Let them go and fight. These economies are teetering on the verge of collapse. The biggest economy in European Union, Germany, has been shrinking for the past 2 years. They are in recession. Since 2022, German economy has shrunk. France is on the verge of shrunk. The forecast for 2025 for France is less than 1%. I can't even talk about the British economy. It's a total mess. And these guys are going to replace the United States. I would love to watch that, just for a theoretical experiment to see what is the real mettle of Europe. Anyway, I'm going to stop with that. The latest update, it seems, is that Zelensky has been kicked out of the White House. There is no deal. They did not sign any minerals deal. And Donald Trump has basically said, get lost and come back when you're ready to make peace. We will see. Basically, the ball is now in Zelensky's court, in Ukraine's court. And I don't know what they are going to do. Thank you very much for watching. I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. If you have not subscribed to Khanversation, please do so now. Take care.